Nightmare in Naples by James Shiels. Bob Breathwaite had been looking forward to a trip to southern Italy for a long time. Above all, he was looking forward to the much-needed rest and peace a trip to Naples and the beautiful Amalfi Coast was going to give him. During his trip, Bob had decided to take a further trip on the Vesuvian train from Naples train station. This train headed out towards the famous Mount Vesuvius. All appeared to be going well. Beyond Naples, Bob was now taking in the relaxing sights of the Italian countryside. Sitting next to Bob and to his left appeared to be a friendly local Italian man. The man looked back at Bob. The man appeared to be genuinely interested in Bob, which was nice. Opposite Bob sat an ample-bosomed lady who appeared to be diligently working on her computer. Again, she not only looked friendly, she was gazing at Bob in a friendly manner, but she was also genuinely very attractive. Also to Bob's right were two girls playing the game of checkers. They looked very friendly, and now and again they too gave a friendly smile to Bob. Bob was now feeling a bit peckish. However, he looked down the aisle and noticed that an ice cream lady was coming up the aisle selling cornettos. The ice cream lady stopped where Bob was, and Bob bought a cornetto from her. This was perfect, Bob thought. Many Englishmen still fondly remembered the cornetto adverts that said cornetto was delicious ice cream of Italy. "Tickets, please," said the local ticket inspector as he walked towards Bob's group. Bob rummaged for his ticket, stood up, and gave the correct ticket to the inspector. Bob now noticed that the next stop would actually be the stop for Mount Vesuvius. Therefore, Bob stayed standing up and walked towards the exit doors of the train in order to soon get off it. As Bob was walking towards the exit door of the train, a funny thing happened. The ticket inspector briefly turned around and briefly winked at a tall man who was standing next to one of the exit doors. This man appeared to be a rather powerful looking figure, a sort of leader or commander type. He was wearing a distinct pair of Italian designer, very expensive glasses. This powerful man, almost in all-knowing slow motion, raised his left hand and with his middle index finger gently moved the left side of his expensive glasses in a toing and froing, back and forth action. While he was doing this action, he was also intently, but briefly, staring at a gentleman that was standing very near to Bob, as Bob waited to get off the train. Interestingly, the man that the powerful leader-type man was staring at made a brief but hardly noticeable similar action back towards the powerful leader-type man. This man too touched briefly his own glasses in a similar way. However, this man's glasses were not very expensive, but rather cheap-looking instead. Then, as Bob was still waiting for the train to slow down, the man that just touched his cheap glasses slowly moved towards Bob. As he slowly moved towards Bob, the man revealed a sort of steel rod with a type of mouth clamp at the end of it. That is, it looked like the sort of thing you see at a fun fair when you play those games in which you have to try and grab a toy using a grabbing device. This time, however, this man's device was not trying to pick a toy in a fun fair. It was instead heading for Bob's pocket, where his wallet was. Bob's wallet contained his bank cards for money and his passport, so that he would then, at the end of his holiday, be able to get back on a plane and fly back to England. Unfortunately, Bob was completely oblivious of these subtle events and was excited to be nearing the station that was then only a fairly short walk to Mount Vesuvius. It appeared now, however, that it was not only the powerful leader man, and the expert pickpocketer who were in on the sting operation, but many other characters on the train who Bob had previously thought were friendly and nice towards him. They all knew what was about to happen, and subtly they all started to get quite excited. In fact, the two girls who had been sitting on the right side of the train next to Bob and who had been playing the game of checkers abruptly started to change their behaviour. All of a sudden, the movements they had been making started to speed up. That is, they were playing their drafts game in a rather slow manner previously, but as the grabbing device near Bob's pocket, they started to move the draft pieces on their draft board in a far more quicker and excited manner. Even the ample bosom lady, who had been diligently working on a computer, who was sitting opposite Bob, now started to type on her keyboard in a far more excited and speeded up way. She was now almost banging the keys. To be fair, but not for Bob, it was quite an exciting moment. The grabbing claws of the pickpocket's device were now right near Bob's pocket. They then started to enter Bob's pocket, and they then gently took out from Bob's pocket his wallet. At that precise moment, one of the ladies who had excitedly been playing checkers in a quick manner saw what happened. This exciting moment actually corresponded with the moment the lady was about to win her checkers game. She won the game and then exclaimed, "I win!" The powerful leader man also now was quite excited. He did a wry and subtle smile of approval. By now the pickpocketer had gently taken Bob's wallet out of his grabbing claw clamp and put it in his pocket. Now Bob's wallet was nowhere to be seen. The train now started to slow down. It stopped and the exit doors opened. Bob got out of the train and now headed towards Mount Vesuvius. Back on the train, celebration was the order of the day. Bob's wallet was loaded. Not only was his bank cards and passport in the wallet, but wads of Italian money that he had got in order for his trip. The pickpocketer now walked towards the leader of the operation and gave him Bob's wallet. The leader, after giving the pickpocketer a wad of cash, then walked towards the girls playing checkers, the ample bosom lady, and even the bloke sitting next to Bob on his left. All had been key in distracting Bob's attention and making him feel that everything was okay. The leader now distributed the wads of Italian money that were in Bob's wallet. As he gave the cash to each person exclaimed what they were going to spend the cash on. The ample bosom lady was very happy. She said, "Large bras are expensive, you know. I can now get a whole new range for myself." The bloke sitting next to Bob on his left was also equally happy. He was a consumer of fine Italian wines, but had not drunk all of them. He said, "This is great. Now I can buy wines that I've never drunk before." Even the two girls playing checkers were happy. They said, "Thank you very much. We were getting bored of checkers, but now we can buy a new expensive chess set." Meanwhile, Bob continued walking out of the station and could now see in the distance Mount Vesuvius. All appeared to still be going well. Back in the train, the powerful leader man, the man that truly controlled everything, made good on a previous promise that he would keep everyone sweet. That is, the train driver himself was also aware of these kinds of activities. As he continued driving the train, the powerful leader's face appeared from behind. The train driver briefly turned around and was also handed a wad of cash. As he was handed the cash, the powerful leader then said to the train driver, "The naivety of the English, will they ever learn?" The train driver then said in reply, "I don't think they ever will." "Good for us," said the smiling powerful leader. Both persons then continued quietly smiling and laughing to themselves. Bob was now out of the train station and was now walking towards Mount Vesuvius. As it was getting quite hot, he now needed to buy a drink. He put his hand in his pocket to feel for his wallet. There was no wallet. everything was gone. Bob then said, "Oh shit,